In the fiercely imaginative, darkly enchanting, and breathlessly high-stakes fantasy romance Daggermouth, rising genre sensation H.M. Wolfe delivers a magnificent, masterfully crafted opening installment to her celebrated heart duology. The novel perfectly utilizes a legendary beast and forbidden allegiance framework. Set across a beautifully textured, treacherous maritime world where coastal kingdoms live in absolute terror of the deep, the plot centers on a fiercely independent, highly skilled seafaring protagonist who has spent her entire life hunting the lethal monsters that stalk the waves. Her world is thrown into total chaos during a high-stakes expedition when she crosses paths with an enigmatic, terrifyingly powerful entity known across the seas as Daggermouth. Instead of a mindless, bloodthirsty predator, she discovers a complex, ancient being operating with strategic, lethal intent. Captured and pulled down into a hidden underwater world of archaic blood feuds, she is forced into a volatile, high-friction partnership with her captor to stop a catastrophic corporate and magical threat that puts both land and sea on a direct collision course for total annihilation. Wolfe's signature prose is exceptionally vivid, atmospheric, and dripping with an underlying gritty romantic tension that beautifully balances maritime mythology with intense psychological warfare. The narrative employs a highly dynamic, dual-perspective structure, shifting seamlessly from the salt-sprayed, wind-whipped decks of pirate and hunter vessels to the mesmerizing, pitch-black opulence of deep-ocean strongholds. Wolfe expertly weaponizes the enemies to lovers, forced proximity, and grumpy versus sunshine formulas, driving the story's romantic frequencies into a high-heat, dizzying orbit of mutual obsession and addictive chemistry. Far from a superficial monster romance, the book serves as a profound, beautifully layered study on the cyclical nature of environmental destruction, the heavy psychological weight of protective armor, and the ultimate liberating realization that monsters aren't always the ones hiding beneath the waves. Sometimes they are the ones pulling the strings from the safety of dry land. The audiobook format is an absolute tour de force for dark fantasy romance aficionados, leveraging a magnificent, emotionally raw performance that captures the rolling thunder of ocean combat and the breathless intimacy of the characters with flawless precision. The vocal execution masterfully anchors the narrative's changing frequencies, perfectly translating the heroine's sharp, unapologetic, and survival-driven cadence, while contrasting it beautifully with the low, rumbling, and possessive dominance of Daggermouth's ancient internal monologues. The superb auditory pacing turns thunderous naval clashes, high-stakes political standoffs, and deep-sea, high-heat encounters into an exceptionally addictive audio binge that flows powerfully through headphones. It is an essential listen for romance purists who crave the dark, mythic scales of Sarah J. Maas, combined with the lush, dangerous ocean lore of classic high fantasy fiction. By the time the final act unleashes a rapid-fire sequence of jaw-dropping betrayals and a massive paradigm-shifting cliffhanger, you will realize that Daggermouth is a definitive triumph, a sharp, sea-forged map of absolute resilience, ultimate sacrifice, and revolutionary